Checking again, making sure we're right. It's a crazy delay. Checking again, making sure we're right. It's a crazy delay. All right. Well, looks like I'm going to be doing a little bit of changing once this actually starts because I am not even in the middle of my video. Anyway, I'm just setting this up because, again, in a new studio. Seems to be my thing as of late. But I actually wanted to go over something real quick. And on my other channel, the Supreme Decision Legal Minute, or legal channel, everything's actually going to be edited and kind of cleaned up a little bit. So hopefully this actually goes through like it's supposed to. Because I want to talk real quickly or briefly regarding the Joe Budden arrest. Now, you're going to see a lot of people that come up because, oh, Joe Budden got arrested. You know, it is what it is. But what you're not going to hear is the strategy that was taking place or put forth by his attorney. And I thought it was ingenious because, just to give you context, I'm going to give you a story at the end that I had to deal with that kind of gauges what this is. And one of the things that I do and some of the things that I see whenever I'm listening to what, other people are doing when they're looking for legal defense and how they're defending these people. Now, not going to go too deep into the arrest. However, Joe Budden, if you didn't know, was arrested. Well, let me rephrase that because he wasn't arrested. The arrest that was announced was stemming from a December 4th issue where Joe Budden had previously stated that he sometimes sleepwalks. Well, in this case, he happened to be sleepwalking outside his apartment. A neighbor caught it on a Ring cam, and he happened to be nude. Now, that's not why I'm on here, but it is part of it. I guess you could say it that way. Anyway, what happened was Joe's attorney said some things, and this is the thing that most people will miss when they're talking about defense because they will go into the actual details. And, well, Joe is this. Yeah, because, Joe has already stated that he has a medical condition, which is already documented. Case is going to get thrown out. But what the attorney does is lay the foundation. Because one of the things he said originally in the defense of Joe Budden was, the police department has never held a press conference in regards to someone in a disorderly charge prior to an arrest. Now, why did he say that? Because he's laying the foundation for an equal protection lawsuit. Why? Because they've never done it previously. So they're treating him differently. They're treating him unequally. Now, the second part of that, which makes this more beautiful, is the fact he goes into the point of why have the police not done something? Because the people that they've got the information from to make these charges literally 30 days later were people that Joe Budden himself have made allegations against that dealt with property issues, dealt with bodily harm, which are actual crimes. But nothing that was done by the police to the effect of this, which again sets up a discrimination point inside of a lawsuit. Why? Because now we're looking at monetary damages. So most people would have missed that because, again, one of the things you would have automatically done is defend the lewd conduct charge. You wouldn't have thought about the aspects of moving the next piece. And that's why I tell people this is chess, not checkers. Because a lot of times what people do, they'll fight the battle that's in front of them and not think about the end game. Because there is no end game. The plan itself is just to handle what's right here. And that's not powerful in the sense in which it doesn't put you in a position where you're thinking 3, 4, 5 moves ahead, which makes you a grandmaster. Well, the reason why I caught this was the easy on. I had a case against Bank of America. Now it was a simple case. The easy was I had a construction company. We did work. Client pays me with a check. Boom, I deposit the check. Now, which was the kind of, I guess, the miscue between myself and Bank of America was my client that gave me the check wrote the check from Bank of America. My business account was with Bank of America. Before I actually deposited the check, I had them cash it at Bank of America. So I went to Bank of America with the Bank of America check to place it into Bank of America, but I didn't place the check in my account. I placed the cash into my account from the check that was also drawn on Bank of America. Now, I know that seems crazy to take it to the place it actually comes from, but here's where the miscue comes from. Well, at the time, even after the verifications, the bank made a mistake and the client did not have the money in the account at the time of withdrawal, I guess you want to say. So by withdrawing that money or cashing that check and then placing that money into my account, it became some type of fraudulent funding. So they took the money from my account, which then, triggered some other stuff because I'm drawing off that because I'm doing other work. And it also did something with the client's account. But again, not really here or there. So we're actually going to court because I'm not paying you guys for your mistake. Because that's what it was. Because they wanted me to pay back the money they had taken from me that I had cashed from the check because of fraudulent business. Well, the easy was standing in the courtroom. And I filed a motion because, again, Bank of America is the one that is taking me to court. They're taking my business to court. And I filed a motion to dismiss, and at the end of it, res judicata, because we've already had this issue talked about, and we've come to terms, and my term was I'm not giving y'all any money. It is what it is at this point, right? So while we're standing there, their representation turns around and looks, motion to strike for language unknown. And I threw my face in my hand. I'm pretty much doing what I'm doing right now. And I said, the defense grants a 30-day continuance in order for the opposition to basically obtain competent counsel. I said something to that effect, but I did use the word competent counsel. So then he looks up and goes, did you just call me incompetent? I said, absolutely. I said, because you did not know the words that are part of the definitions that are on page 1 of the organic code. Now, again, most people would have gone after the strike because that's what's in front of me. But by me saying, you've got to have adequate representation, I know this because that's law. I'm keeping it on the basis of law. I also didn't battle what was in front of me. I moved 3 steps ahead. So he's befuddled. What do you mean? I told him, I said, yeah, it's literally on the first page of definitions. The judge looks at him and said, well, he's not wrong. But here's what happened from me just making that actual progression into it. He then understood that now it's on record that he's incompetent. We got a continuance for them to get competent counsel, to which now they dismissed the case because they saw they didn't have a case because I wasn't one of those people that did not know what they were doing. The next part is now any case he goes up for, whoever he's going against has that tool of he's incompetent. He's been deemed incompetent prior. That is now going to follow him around for the rest of his career. However long he allows that to continue to be. Because no matter what happens after that, he has always been marked in court as incompetent. But what happens now, just like again with Joe Budden, you could have fought the battle that's here, but then you forget about the thing that's down the road. And this is one of the things that I tell people to do. It's a learned skill. It's the ability to listen. You're given 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you speak. So if you're not able to listen to the arguments, listen to the verbiage that's being said, you're not going to be able to respond with intelligence. You're not going to be able to combat the things that they're giving you because they're going to tell you how to beat them. Everyone gives you their tale. And here's the easiest part of it. When you learn the skill of listening, you can then weaponize that actual listening skill because just like I always say, you cannot argue against yourself. That's why you use their words against them. Joe Budden's attorney is using their actions, new and old, against them. He's using their inaction of not doing something with their current action of doing something, involving the exact same parties. I could have argued and stopped the point of merit because we were already there for that. But I then went ahead and not only took care of the battle that was in front of me, I took care of some things down the road. You always have to be thinking and always have to be able to recite and move forward. Because just in chess, every battle has an opposition. Because every action has an opposite action or defense. You have to understand the counter to that counter to that counter. And part of that is being focused on what's in front of you, but also understanding where it is that you're trying to get to. So hopefully I can have a couple more of these and we can start going and start growing a little bit more. So this is